You're listening to the Master Passive Income Podcast Network. Welcome to the Master Passive Income Show. My name is Dustin Heiner, and I'm here to help you get financial independence, quit that job, that just over broke job, by investing in real estate so you never ever have to work a job again. Today, I'm super pumped to bring on a fantastic investor who invests in multifamily commercial properties and started in residential like we do, and has grown and played Monopoly, where now he is getting multi-units, and he's going to show you how to do it as well. All right, let's start the show.
Welcome to the Master Passive Income Podcast, where we talk about investing in real estate with a special focus on making enough money so you can quit your job and live the dream life. And now, here is your host, Dustin Heiner.
What's up? What's up? Super blessed as always to have you here with me on the show. Now, I am super excited about what we're doing here at Master Passive Income, and it's going to help you to become a better, more well-rounded investor. And I recently bought a multifamily 355-unit apartment complex, which was phenomenal. Go back and listen to the past episodes. I talk all about that so you can learn how to invest in multifamily and commercial properties. Now, we're also having a new event, the Real Estate Wealth Builders Conference Multifamily Edition. And it's going to be in November. You need to be here with us. And the reason why you need to be here with us is the same reason why I'm bringing on my guest today, where we're talking about commercial properties, raising money, investing with other people, not just being a solo show when you're investing. Now, not saying that's bad at all. In fact, I love that my bread and butter is residential 4 units and below, where I know I'm going to be making money every single month. In fact, I was just talking with a student today. We were having coffee, hanging out and chatting, and he was saying how he invested in this one fund, or he put his money with somebody, and now he's not going to be able to get that money back, sadly. Like, it's just a bad situation. But 400 grand is now gone, which is so very, very sad for him. And he has a full-time job doing a great line of work, but he was like, I don't have time to invest. Let me just give my money to somebody else. Well, sadly now, a lot of his money's gone, which is a bummer, but I told him, hey, even though we're starting over, this is what we're going to do. We need you to have your nest egg. We need you to be in control of everything, as opposed to giving it to somebody else so that they are going to do the work for you, and you may or may not get your money back. We here at Master Passive Income will literally help you to build your own business. You have all the control. You have all the ownership. You're not sharing your income with anybody. And that's what we are going to do here at Master Passive Income. He is pumped up, signed up to be a coaching student. Super awesome that he is now on his path to become financially independent. And at the same time, though, when we build that nest egg for ourselves, residential 4 units and below, I have 30 plus properties. Well, then we go into multifamily, commercial properties. We start playing Monopoly because we have more money. We can now invest in things that give greater return. Now, one thing I would suggest to not do is not just give your money out to just random people that say that they have a good deal. You have to know, like, and trust them. And that's one reason why I've literally never raised money from any of my investors, any of my community, the podcast, and any of that stuff, because I'm not a syndicator. I'm not a capital raiser. I just recently had a great deal, and I wanted to provide that for other people. But you have to do your own due diligence. Now, what I want you to be is not just a passive investor. I want you to be an active investor, that you get your own deals. You make your own money, and you get other people to invest with you. That's why I'm bringing on my guest today, where he has done that. He's raised millions of dollars and is now investing in commercial properties, developing them, and you'll hear all about that. And also, with the Rubicon Multifamily Conference that we're putting on in November 7th through 9th, you have to be there. This is going to be a little bit different than Rubicon, whereas not different in another way. So what a kind of convoluted way to say, it's going to be just like Rubicon, all about community, all about helping you to invest, bringing in great, amazing experts to teach you and show you how to do it. So it's going to be so similar in that. It's going to be the same feel, look and feel. You're going to love it. It's going to be your place. The way it's going to be a little bit different is it's focused on commercial. That would be multifamily apartment complexes, storage facilities, commercial buildings. We have mobile home parks, hotels, all these things that are commercial. That's what we're going to be teaching on, and it's going to be so much more hands-on, tactical. There's going to be workshops for you to learn. It's going to be fantastic. So you need to be there. Get your ticket. And because you are a part of the podcast, I want you to be here with us. I will literally give you 20% off your pass, any pass that you're going to be using. Get 20% off. Use the promo code MPI Podcast. This is the inaugural event, and it's going to be phenomenal. I have so many great speakers lined up, and we're going to be coaching you. That's the thing. We're going to coach you to be an active investor, not just a passive one. And if you are a passive investor, this is going to help you be even better passive investor. So you're going to be able to analyze your own deals that people are going to bring to you and say, hey, invest in my deal. You're going to say, well, let me look at it. You're going to be able to analyze that deal and say, this is a good deal or this is a bad deal. You're going to have so much more information. And commercial investing is the direction that we will be going. We're going to take you on the journey where if you're starting brand new, we're going to start with residential, 4 units and below, build up that business. We're going to have more money where then you're going to be investing in hotels, apartment complexes, storage facilities, commercial buildings. We're going to help you to become a well-rounded investor and win the game of Monopoly. That's my ultimate goal for you, is to win the game of Monopoly in real life. You start with land, buy a couple houses, start collecting rent, and then you eventually move up to hotels where you make the big bucks. Well, that's where you will be if you stick with us at Master Passive Income. I'm bringing on Charles Seaman. He's now a coach here at Master Passive Income doing multifamily commercial investing. Super blessed. I mean, what's great is I have a vision of helping 1 million people to invest in real estate, all types of asset classes. And I literally have people coming to me and say, Dustin, I see the vision and I want to be a part of your vision. I want to coach. I want to be a part of it. And these are awesome people. And this is how I built the Master Passive Income Podcast Network, is because I have awesome people who are already experts saying, hey, Dustin, I want to take part in your vision to help 1 million people to invest in real estate. Are you one of them? Well, if you are, you absolutely need to be there at the conference. You can also get my free real estate investing course. Text the word rental to 33777. Rental to 33777. And you absolutely need to join my membership. We have one-on-one coaching as well. Charles and William and Zach and the other Charles Seaman and new Charles, we all do the coaching. You get part of group coaching. We have one-on-one coaching. We have everything for you to become a successful investor. We just brought on 2 students this last week because they know that you do not wait to buy real estate. You buy real estate and then wait. All right, super pumped to bring on a fantastic commercial real estate investor. Going to show us how to raise capital, how to invest in real estate like the wealthy do. I have Adit Shah on the show. All right, here we go. Great to see you again, man.
Likewise, man. Thanks so much for having me. I'm super excited.
Now, this is so cool. So meeting you for the first time at the immersion, at the event, was great because seeing you obviously interacting with people, seeing what you have started doing like 4 or 5 years ago, and getting to know people, and then trying to connect with them and helping those people get what they want, which in turn you get what you want. But let's start by, I want people to know how you got to be financially independent. And you can even start from the beginning. Hey, I was 18 years old, learned this, that, and the other. But how did you get to be financially independent? And then we're going to dive into what most people would never do, but what you did. So talk to us about how you became financially independent.
Sure. So the bulk of my financial independence comes from real estate rental income and some passive business income as well. But where it all started was, being a part of an immigrant family. Both my parents immigrated from India, and we're both small business owners. And I got that taste of small business, that taste of hustle, that taste of not working for somebody at a very young age. I started little side hustles as early as high school, like landscaping, raking leaves, working 2 jobs at a time. Like I've always had 2 jobs at a time before I became an entrepreneur. Fast forward after high school, I joined the military. I did what every Indian person would never do. Instead of going to college, I went to the military, right? Had a blast, was so blessed and fortunate to be promoted 4 times in 5 short years. Saw like 13 countries there and got out, had no clue what I was going to do. But I did one smart thing while I was in the military, was I bought a condo that I was house hacking. I didn't know I was house hacking at the time. What I thought was somebody else was paying most of my bills, which is house hacking is, you know. So I bought a 2-bedroom condo, had one room rented out. He was paying for more than half of the expenses. And the real estate thing started really intriguing me. I stumbled upon Bigger Pockets and different YouTubers and things like that, and just jumped into the real estate rabbit hole. So that's kind of how I got started and what led up to my financial independence.
You've done something, and I teased this out. The beginning, you obviously be the military, fantastic. I really appreciate you serving our great country. And then it also taught you, obviously, hard work. Being promoted that many times is just fantastic. But I teased this a little bit out, that you've done something that most people would never, ever do. Now, when we were talking, this is what really impressed me. I was like, I have to have you on the show, because I didn't know to do this. And I'm glad to bring you on, because people need to hear that they should do this. So you worked literally for free with somebody so that you can get experience and get knowledge and get your foot in the door for, I think it was like a year. Like, tell us about that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So, you know, to preface that, couple things that I learned in the military. Number one was, you know, find someone who you want to be. So like, let's say you're an E1 and you want to be an E5 in a work center supervisor. That's like military terms, but basically you want to jump up in the chain. Find that person, work them out of a job, right? So you take their responsibilities and you push them out of the job. Number two, and the most valuable thing that I ever learned in the military, is the value of putting your head down, not paying attention to any of the results, right? I say this with caution, but not paying attention to any of the results and only paying attention to the effort. So just strict, focused effort without any expectation of reward is very valuable when you're starting out. Now, when you get bigger in business, things have to be measured, but for someone starting out, that's very valuable and is applicable to any setting. But anyways, to what you asked me about, Dustin. So yeah, I had this crazy idea. I got on Bigger Pockets, LinkedIn, Facebook, everywhere. Everyone who looked like they were doing something in real estate in San Diego, agents, brokers, man, you name it. Hey, my name's Adit Shah. I just got in the military. You know, here's my experience. My really only valuable, tangible skill at the time was that I was a handyman. So I could fix anything. You send me to something that's broken in a house, I can fix it, or I can figure out how to fix it, right? So I said, I'm a handyman. That's, you know, besides that, I can work really hard. It was I wish I kept that cover letter because it was super unprofessional. And it was just like, I'm surprised people even responded, but no one really responded. Like a couple people did. I would show up to people's offices. They would no-show me. We would have calls scheduled. They wouldn't answer. One guy finally, like after me calling him like 4 or 5 times, cold calling, showing up, come to the job site, you know, help me move these boxes. So I started helping him move these boxes of flooring at his job site. He was a real estate developer in San Diego doing new construction, multifamily and subdivisions. And that turned into me working for free for a whole year as a handyman, fixing things at his rental properties, to then becoming a property. So that was 1 year free and 2 years paid as a property manager and a project manager, managing his rental portfolio and then also managing his new construction project.
That was an entire year of working for free. Well, got to ask, how did you pay for bills and food and all that sort of stuff?
So number one, even to this day, I've always lived very, very, very below my means. And that's something that I've just beaten into me by immigrant parents. But, you know, I was house hacking, so I had a lot of my living expenses covered. And then I was also going to college. So when you get out of the military and you go to college, you get a monthly housing allowance. So I was living off of that and my savings. And then I would also drive Uber, you know, when I wasn't helping out, and just like scrape money together however I can. I was doing like some moving side gigs. But the big thing, Dustin, to answer your question, was that what the solution was that I was just eating freaking beans and shredded chicken, man, you know? So I wasn't going out. I wasn't spending any money at all. And I was house hacking. So those two things combined is what allowed me to give up all of my time for this opportunity.
So you started, you said we're like 23 years old, really getting down this path?
That's correct.
And then you just turned 29 now, which again, happy birthday.
Thank you.
Now, shoot, that's only 6 years later. I mean, at what age were you when you became financially independent?
I became financially independent in 2022. So that I was age 26. I think it was right before I turned 27.
Now everybody listening, I mean, you got to realize that you might be thinking, well, Adit's young, I'm old. Or you might be thinking, well, Adit has this special thing or this. No. It's literally anybody can and should do this, because when you work to learn, to get connections, to get a possible step up, a leg up in life, you will actually get so much more out of than if you worked 1 hour and got paid for that hour. Now, with the master passive income idea, trying to get passive income, getting that one condo was a brilliant idea. Obviously, doing it and then house hacking and just falling into it is amazing. With that, though, you worked and didn't make any money, but look at how quickly you became financially independent, as opposed to people literally working for 40 plus years of their life and never becoming financially independent. And bring everything back together is that you're getting with working for free, experience, knowledge, connections, and even a leg up or a catapult, a stepping stone to get to where you want to be. Now, 4 or 5 years later, after you first got down that road, now you're financially independent, and you now have this extra time and extra energy, extra experience, extra connections, extra everything to make you keep moving forward. Now, is there in order to somebody do this, would you say, is it like you said, contact as many people as possible, kept sending out your resume and cover letters, all that sort of stuff? How would somebody get started doing that, down that path of, I really want to work to learn, to get experience and knowledge?
So what I would say is, not to discourage anyone, but what I did is probably not practical for 75% of people, right? I was a young guy. I had money coming in from my military benefit. It's just such a niche category that maybe 1% of listeners, so don't shut your ears off. I'm going to tell you what to do. Number one, most of you are more valuable than I was when I got out of the military, right? Most of you have some kind of tangible skill, or you can invest your spare time into developing a tangible skill that could be valuable to a real estate investor or to a business person, to whoever you want to become, really. So number one is going to be identify who you want to become. So I gave the example of Dustin, for example, like, hey, if I want to put on a really good real estate event like Dustin does, by the way, I would figure out how to be valuable to Dustin, whether it's, hey, man, I can build your website for you. I can help you organize the event. I can come be an intern for you, right? The other, all of these things, and maybe you even have more valuable, like, hey, Dustin, I'm a CPA, what are you doing for your taxes? Let me actually give you a free strategy session. And, let's see how, and let's see how the inner workings of your event business is, and it's not me being nosy. It's, I really have these really valuable things, or, what have you. I don't want to go too much down the rabbit hole. But the other opposite end of the spectrum, which is equally as valuable and is much faster, is,
and I want to pause for just one quick second to share with you my Wealth Builders membership, the Real Estate Wealth Builders membership, where I am literally coaching students how to invest in real estate. We have group coaching. We have the Slack community where we're all answering questions. We have multiple coaches. We're all in there to help you to become a successful real estate investor. I want to give you a discount to join the Wealth Builders membership. If you use the promo code podcast, I will literally give you 25% off the join fee and the monthly fee, because I want to get you investing in real estate. So use a promo code podcast and check the link in the description to get in the Wealth Builders membership so you can become successful like all of our other students that have become successful by investing in real estate.
But the other opposite end of the spectrum, which is equally as valuable and is much faster, is joining masterminds or paying to go to events or et cetera, or even joining free Facebook groups, joining free communities and networking in there, and finding people who you can bring value to as well, right? So it doesn't just have to be the brute strength off the back. Like, there's way more efficient ways to do it, but there's also a value to be had. And, with caution, there are good masterminds out there. There's bad ones. They're very easy to distinguish. But if you find a good one that you resonate with, absolutely, making that investment, if you have the money to invest and not the time, is equally, if not more beneficial to what I did. It's the same thing, different flavor.
And I like how you lead with value. And even if you don't have any value, if you just show up and just try to do something and try to help out, more than likely, everybody listening that you're going to to this, you're going to have some sort of value that's going to be able to bring to somebody else. You might not know what it is until you start talking to the people, you start networking, you really start to get to know them. I'll give you an example. I was literally at the gym today. Met this physical therapist like a year or two ago. We say hi, wave hi every once in a while. He works out there too. I see him all the time. And then just today, I asked him, hey, because I met his daughter once. She came in, she's at college. She said, hey, how's your daughter doing at college? Then we started getting in more conversation, and because he didn't know anything about me. And then after we started talking, we got to know each other even more. It was like literally like a 10-minute conversation that he's looking at everything that I'm doing with real estate investing, possibly investing with me. So if you don't even just try to talk to somebody and try to get to know how you can benefit somebody, you might not know exactly what it is right at the bat. It might just be, how can I serve this person? You're asking the question, how can I help you? How can I serve you? And in doing that, like whenever somebody asks me that, I'm like, ooh, I like this person, as opposed to somebody literally saying, well, do I get a retirement plan? How much does it pay? Do I get vacation time? All that sort of stuff. I'm like, well, you're asking me to get married before we even started dating. Like you need to present value. So I love that perspective. Now, you house hacked. I want to go down that path of house hacking now, because in house hacking, you then built a business now that you have more rental properties. You raise funds, like you buy larger, commercial properties. So you have to raise money for those. How did that transition from house hacking to then be into where you're at now, where you have multiple properties, commercial properties, and you're raising capital?
Sure, totally. So I was already house hacking. I got there on my own because and here's a common theme in my life is being around the right people, right? So when I was in the Navy, I started hanging around kind of like the people who wanted to be financially savvy and learn and things. And I noticed like, hey, they're using their VA loan, they're buying a condo, ask them about this, ask them about that. Ended up buying a condo, right? And house hacking it and turning it a primary residence into an investment property. So that solved that for me. I got around this real estate developer. He's a multimillionaire. He's got several projects. It's a huge jump. But being in the operations role that I was, even as a handyman, just asking him random questions after I fix an outlet, like, hey, how do you do this? Or how do you calculate this? And he'll just spit it out real quick, that gave me the confidence to start investing on my own. So I did a little bit of private lending, investing in his projects. I did some out of state flips. Mind you, I'm in California, right? That's where I work. And that's where I invest as well now. But starting out, California is a high barrier entry. So I did a couple of out-of-state flips. And then I used my primary residence loan again to do another house hack. And that one ended up being a 6-figure exit in 2021. And then in 2021, literally like 3 weeks later, I sold my condo that I had originally bought, 6-figure exit. I had a bankroll. Started looking for infill development deals because that's what I was working in. I was a project manager for a developer. Everything in 2021.
What's an infill development?
An infill development is basically there's multiple types of real estate development, but there's land development where you buy raw land, you bring in utilities, you improve the land with that by building assets on there, or you buy an existing asset, let's say it's a 2-unit, and then you add 15 units in the backyard, right? So it's infill development is taking something that's lower moderate density and making it denser. That's basically what it is. And it's usually in, urban areas and between existing developments, things like that. So,
very cool. Okay. Continue on.
So I had the bankroll, like I had the 2 6-figure exits, and I had exited the flips as well. So I had some money now, and I started looking for these infill development deals, which what I thought at the time was my specialty. I really had no specialty, life was my sandbox at the time. But I started making offers on multifamily in San Diego, way too expensive. If I was going to offer $1 million, someone was offering 1.5. It's cheap money days, right? It was a totally different world. And I'm an Indian guy, so if you know anything about Indian people, if it's worth $1 million, we got to pay $600K for it. That's not negotiable. It's not, it works great for us, I have to say, but it also, causes slower growth. But anyways, mobile home parks out of state, self-storage, everything I was making offers on, partnering with people. I went to an event called Flip Hacking Live in late 2021, remember, and about events. And I got a free ticket from a mastermind that I was in from a friend called Adam Whitney, an incredible guy, gave me a free ticket to Flip Hacking Live. I went there, met my business partner, Octavio Moda. We were doing that. We started partnering, making offers. Same thing. He thinks the same way, buying at a discount. Couldn't buy anything at a discount in 2021. We met someone who's buying hotels. He's like, yeah, I just got a hotel under contract that appraised for $6 million. We got it under contract for $4.4 million. So you're walking in with $1.6 million of equity. I said, yeah, that's the kind of numbers I like. We co-founded, the three of us, a private equity company. I learned how to raise money. In our first 9 months, that's late 2021 through 2022. In the first 9 months, we bought $18 million worth of assets in all hotels. So we syndicated $18 million worth of hotels. That company went on to also do a syndication for a software company. And we had a really good run, but I had a realization there. That's where I also got my financial independence from, by the way. But I had a realization there that you can make all the money in the world, but if you're not doing something that you really care about and something that excites you, you're still going to be miserable. And that's exactly what I was. I was miserable. I didn't know anything about hotels. I didn't care about hotels. So from there, I took a leap back into infill development. That's what I'm doing now. I founded a company called Housebender, and we focus on building affordable housing in San Diego County. So that's kind of
it. Yeah, and so I follow you on Instagram. So Housebender, easy to find. I don't think there's anybody else, but the Housebender, you could definitely find him on Instagram. And so doing infield developing, that's something you really enjoy doing. Did you get out of the hotels?
So we still have the hotels, but we're working on exiting them.
Got it. Did you do any asset management, or was it just mainly capital raising?
Yeah, so we wouldn't manage the hotel, the business. We had an operator that was also a capital partner and a personal guarantor on the loan for those hotels. But we did all the investor relations. We did all of the financial management and things like that.
Got it. Okay, so talk to me about the infield development. And I've literally never done anything like that. I don't even know much about it. But why do you like doing that? And if we were to get started in it, is there any certain steps that we have to do in order to do it?
Sure. So two questions there. Number one, the reason why I believe it's a superior real estate investment is the reason why people lose their shirts in real estate is because of burn, right? Every single real estate project has a burn rate. And what you're basically doing is you're doing a giant race against the clock to where you have capital that you've raised, right? And you're burning it slowly. But eventually you're going to build a project that's going to catch up and stop the burn and pull the project up into cash flow. But in big developments, even moderate and small developments, people use heavy debt. They're buying land where the land is just sitting and burning money because they have debt on it from day one. In infill development, you have an existing asset that's generating income from day one, right? So your burn is completely reduced or greatly reduced or even cash flowing from day one. And number two, through construction, in some cases, you can be generating money, right? So it basically solves the developer's dilemma, which is, hey, I can lose my shirt because I'm bleeding. I don't like bleeding, Dustin. I like to sleep at night, I like for my investors to sleep at night. I don't like anyone breathing down my neck. I use very little debt, some cases no debt. And we like to do business that way. We like to do business comfortably, and we don't like to bleed. So that's why I think infill development is a superior investment. But
before you get into the idea of like how do we get into it? So is the goal to exit these, to build it up, make it cash flowing even more, and make it the business better, and then exit because it's more of a commercial property? So
remember the event that we met at Jesse's immersion. Shout out Jesse, by the way. We all kind of had this realization. Well, we all knew, but we were reinforced by each other that the best thing that you can do in your life is buy real estate and never sell ever. Right. So the idea is to hold these things, as long as we can. Obviously, when there's investors involved, there are projects with 2 to 5 year exits. But for every project that I do that's short term, I try to do 1 or 2 projects that's at least a 10-year project or a project that I have a clear path to hold it forever, whether that's in year 10, cashing out investors and then holding it myself. So my ultimate goal is to hold as much real estate as I can, build generational wealth, one day pass that on to my family and for my family to pass it on forever. But, it's kind of a healthy mix between the two of short-term and long-term.
I love it. Now, do you still have buy and hold single family homes? Do you have any of those, or is it mostly all going towards this other way?
So if I buy and hold a single family home, usually I like to go for small multifamily, but a residential asset, it's usually going to be with the end goal of adding more units somehow. Right. So my portfolio right now, the bulk of it is residential. So 4 units and under. Some of them have not been developed yet and they're just cash flowing. But eventually the goal is to build on those parcels.
When you build, is it a raise every single time, or do you try to get a loan, or is it just depending on the property and what you can possibly build on it?
Sure. So my vivid vision, you speak about like your vivid vision, is going to be me raising money for the next 2 years for these projects. The short-term projects I'll exit between this, 2024, 2025, 2026. And then after 2026, if I don't want to, I should never have to raise money again. I will be able to just self-fund my projects and slowly snowball up into bigger things. So my goal is to eventually completely self-fund. But and build wealth for my family and my friends who want to be involved, only family and friends from that point on. But until then, I raise equity for the construction and in some cases the acquisition of these properties.
I love the direction you're going and making long-term generational wealth, where you would literally hold on to these. That's something that is near and dear to my heart. That's because I'm going to literally give these properties to my kids, teach them how to do this stuff as well. In fact, my oldest daughter's 16. And before she turns 17, our goal is to have her buy her first property. And my son, the second, he's 15. And I said, before you turn 17, in fact, it'd be great if before you turn 16, but we want to try to have you get your first property. So I'm teaching them. They're going through my courses. They're learning how to do it. Obviously, I'm going to be there every single step of the way to help them along. But what's great is if you just hold on to these properties just perpetually, you're going to continually make money. Then you're going to get more equity that you can take money out to buy more properties, especially commercial properties. It'd be great. And I like your idea of, have you got investors on with you for a certain property? Then as investors, their idea is like, you know what, I want my money back plus extra interest or a good return. Let's say 2.5 times my money, whatever it might be. Well, if you buy the property and then you make it worth more by fixing it up, value add, which means you make it better, make more money, all that sort of stuff. And then you refinance it and then pay off your investors. So they don't have any more equity because you paid them what you promised them when they first started investing. It doesn't matter you didn't sell it. You just refinance and pay them off and you keep the property. That's a huge win-win. If you get in a multifamily and you go down that path, if you start having, 10, 20 plus units, then you have huge economies of scale because you're utilizing other people's money and then refinancing, keeping those. So I love that. Now, if somebody's going down the path of, what was it called? That land developing? I don't even know what it is.
Infill development, yeah.
Infill development, yes. And so is it difficult to start doing the infill development?
Yes, but to kind of suffix that, yes, but anything worthwhile is hard. Like wholesaling is hard. Buying an out-of-state rental is hard. It's equally as hard as anything else, But is it difficult? Yes, it is. Is it a higher barrier to entry than buying your FHA house hack? Yeah, absolutely. Does it require a lot more technical knowledge? Yes, but you can go get all those things. I mean, the internet is a free, wild place, and you can add value to someone who's doing that, right? And to answer your question, how would you get started? Is get around people who are doing it and be valuable to them. That's the very simple answer to how you would get started doing anything.
Do you need to be in high valued areas like San Diego or California, or can you do it anywhere?
So for moderate and high density projects, those tend to work better in cities, right? So it doesn't have to be an expensive city, but a city that has enough demand for the housing. But for you to develop, create new real estate, that can happen anywhere. That can happen in the middle of Kansas. It can happen in the desert in Arizona, and it can happen in the snow in Maine. So the whole idea is, like, for example, like I was just one thing that I look at a lot when I'm looking at property, because I also consider buying existing property and just doing normal traditional value add multifamily in my market. But what I look at is, okay, how much am I buying this for? Oh, I'm buying this asset for $400 a square foot. Not uncommon in San Diego for something that's even on a discount, right? Well, how much would I build it for? Well, all in land and construction, I could probably build it for $310 a foot. Well, then maybe it's not a good deal, right? When you're building something, you can usually build a lot cheaper than you can buy, because you're reducing the premium by accepting you're reducing the premium of having a turnkey or ready to go asset by accepting the risk of the time and the resources that it takes to create that asset.
That's very interesting idea. I personally have never built anything. In fact, I'd love to be able to do that. It's just so much easier because obviously being residential 40 units and below, there's so many of those properties out there. You could just easily find one of those and make cash flow on it. But I love the idea, and especially utilizing land. Land is terrific. Land investing. I have a good friend of mine, Seth Williams, the RE Tipster podcast and website, and he teaches people how to invest in land. I'm like, man, I got to learn how to do that. I just have so many other things going on that I just haven't done it. But with that, I love the direction that you're going. Is there anything, if somebody is, let's say they're young and they're saying, you know what, I want to follow in how Adit has done it. Is there anything that we might have missed? Like anything that you would suggest, like if they're going to start working with somebody for free, or just start offering their time and value to somebody, like anything else that you would suggest?
I would say that have the humility to be valuable to someone, right? To put your head down and accept, like, hey, I'm not really entitled to anything right now. I'm a brand new beginner. I'm not entitled to make any money for the next, if you can chuck the next 5 years, right? And just in your mind, like, I am not entitled to make any money for the next 5 years. If I get the knowledge that I need for the next 20, that equals me making $1 million a year. Whatever you want to assign, however you want to assign value, completely chuck the idea of making money and get hungry for experience and get hungry for knowledge. And do that by offering your time and skills and your money. If you don't have the time, join the mastermind, pay for the course, pay for the coaching program. You're always going to learn something unless you're buying from someone who's just completely inauthentic. And most people's intuition will pick up on that, right? So do your research on people. If they're getting other people results, if they are, transparent about their finances and all these things online, buy their course, take the $1,000 to $3,000 experiment, right? And learn something. And if you learn nothing, at least you learned that course wasn't worth anything. So and then when you can, try to bring value to people and be valuable to them. That's going to be the biggest and most valuable course that you can ever invest in.
I think it's fantastic advice, because I would much rather have my time than my money, because time is something you'll never, ever get back. You're always spending it. You can never make or earn any more of it. And so if you did not have your time spent just working for somebody else and getting paid for an hour for every hour that you work, then instead of that, you're actually using this time that you have, precious time. We only live for 80, maybe if you're lucky, 100 years, very, very most. But that time that I believe I wasted when I first started investing in real estate, I didn't hire, like join a mastermind. I didn't start a coaching with anybody. I didn't do any of that stuff because I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna do it myself. Well, I wasted at least 4 or 5 years doing it the wrong way, spending a lot of money that I didn't need to because I didn't know what I was doing. Now I figured out how to do it by going through the School of Hard Knocks. And so anybody listening, I would strongly suggest that you, instead of paying with your time, which is what I did, pay with your money, because you could always make more money. In the end, you can make more money, but you can't make more time. Now, Adit Shah, thank you so much for being on. I want people to find you. I'd definitely check out Housebender on Instagram. But how else can people find you? Maybe even reach out to you.
Sure, yeah. My DMs are open on Instagram. It's at Housebender. HOUSEBENDER. But also, if you give my emails are open too. I always read people's emails. I even get on calls. I had a goal this year to do 100 free 30-minute one-on-ones with people. I killed it. We're way past 100 right now, but now still every other Thursday I open up 1 hour to talk to people. So just shoot me an email, Adit, ADIT, or at housebender.com, or shoot me a DM on Instagram. And if you have a real estate problem that you feel like I can help with, or a business problem that you feel I can help with, I'm all ears and happy to serve.
Adit, you literally lead by value, by giving value. I mean, you'll probably get a few emails from the show, because I get people whenever I have like one of my students on, somebody will email me, hey Dustin, can I connect with that person? Or people will, and I have questions for that area, how they're investing or how they do it and all that sort of stuff. So I really appreciate it. That's a huge value. You'll definitely get a lot of people that are taking advantage of your generosity. So really appreciate it, Adit. Great seeing you again, and hopefully we'll be able to hang out again soon, man.
Likewise, man. Thank you so much for having me.
And that is it for today. Go ahead and get my free real estate investing course. Text the word rental to 33777, RENTAL to 33777. You can also join my Real Estate Wealth Builders group coaching. Get all my courses. All right, guys, we'll see you in the next show. See ya.